So he FaceTimed me and stuff like that. He was like, Nipsey just got killed. I'm like, sick, so I didn't hear that. So I hang up with him. I called Nipsey, and I'm like, Nipsey, what's up? He was like, oh, what's up with it?
Nipsey answered.
Nipsey answered. He answered the phone. So after I talked to Nipsey, and I was like, yeah, I love you, cuz, or whatever like that. I'll see you later or whatever. So I hung up the phone. I thought Big U gave wrong information. 30 minutes later, the homies blowing me up like they just killed Nipsey.
Big U called, announcing Nipsey's death 30 minutes before Nipsey died. His son just got murdered. Halloween night, Nipsey's affiliates are celebrating it as karma, old footage resurfacing. Street justice or street tragedy? Let's unpack this. When the streets came calling. This is straight from the concrete jungles of Los Angeles, where one Halloween night turned into a nightmare that has the entire hip-hop community divided, shocked, and debating whether divine justice is real. We're talking viral footage, old clips resurfacing, conspiracy theories running rampant, and a tragedy connecting directly back to one of the most beloved figures in West Coast rap, Nipsey Hussle. Picture this, Halloween, 2025. October 31st. In suburban neighborhoods, kids are trick-or-treating, families posting decorated houses to Instagram, living that picture-perfect life. But down in South Central LA, outside the Fig and 69 smoke shop, deep in Rollin 60s Crips territory, a completely different story was about to unfold. We're talking about Jabari Baby Wee Henley, a 34-year-old cat who worked a warehouse job, made music on the side, and by all accounts was doing everything possible to stay away from the gang-banging lifestyle his pops was infamous for. Jabari was the son of Eugene Big U Henley. If you're even remotely plugged into West Coast hip-hop, that name should ring bells. Big U ain't just some random OG. This man is a certified street legend, an alleged shot caller for the Rollin 60s neighborhood Crips, one of the most notorious Crip sets in California. But he's also a music executive who helped launch careers, a community activist who ran nonprofit programs, and most importantly for this story, he was the early mentor and manager of Ermias Nipsey Hussle Asghedom. Yeah, that Nipsey Hussle, the Grammy-nominated rapper tragically murdered in 2019, around 11:11 p.m. Crazy how even the timestamp feels ominous. Jabari pulled up to this smoke shop. According to the LAPD, surveillance footage caught Jabari approaching a dark-colored sedan, possibly a Toyota Camry or Honda Accord. Suddenly, somebody inside let off at least 7 shots from what investigators believe was a semi-automatic pistol, probably a 9mm or .40 caliber. The bullet struck Jabari multiple times: torso, chest, stomach, arm, and thigh. Bystanders scattered when shots rang out, screaming and diving for cover. LAPD officers from the 77th Street Division rolled up within minutes. These officers immediately started performing CPR, even administering epinephrine to try keeping his heart pumping. But the damage was catastrophic. Jabari had suffered hemorrhagic shock, he'd lost too much blood, and a bullet had torn through his pulmonary artery. Right there on that South LA street corner, Jabari Baby Wee Henley was pronounced dead at just 34 years old. The forensic team collected shell casings, pulled surveillance footage, and recovered partial DNA evidence from the vehicle's door handle. Word on the street is, this hit was likely connected to beef with the Hoover Criminals gang, a rival Crip set beefing with the Rollin 60s for decades. 2 persons of interest, both affiliated with Hoover from Englewood, were briefly detained but released. As of now, nobody's been arrested, and the LAPD has put up a $50,000 reward. But here's what set social media ablaze. Jabari wasn't just any random victim. He was Big U's son, and Big U wasn't out on the streets. Big U was locked up in federal custody at the Metropolitan Detention Center, held without bail on a massive 43-count RICO indictment, including extortion, human trafficking, bank fraud, robbery, tax evasion, and a murder-for-hire plot from 2021. The feds had been building a case for years, painting him as the head of a criminal enterprise. Around 1:30 a.m. on November 1st, Big U got a call on a contraband cell phone from his co-defendant, Loose Cannon, with the devastating news. Reports say he kept whispering, "Not my boy, not like this," completely devastated.
My motivation for purposely trying to get this gang violence to the point to where it's none is my kids, my sons. I have sons who are at the age, who are at that target age, and when I came home, I definitely wanted to be a part of the solution and getting LA to where it is right now today. You know what I mean? And my motivation was a selfish motivation because I have sons. and I don't never want to see my sons laying in no casket.
Which makes what happened to Jabari tragically ironic. Here's a man who dedicated years to ending gang violence, specifically to protect his sons, yet one of them still ended up dead on the streets. Jabari had been trying to do right, working as a warehouse supervisor, distancing himself from gang life. But the streets don't care about intentions. When your last name is Henley and your father is Big U, you're automatically a target, whether you're active or not. That's the harsh reality. The sins of the father often get visited upon the sons. What happened next in the days immediately following Jabari's murder is what really transformed this from a local tragedy into the viral phenomenon that currently has millions of people talking, arguing heatedly on social media, and taking definitive sides in what's become one of the most controversial stories in recent hip-hop history. This story went absolutely nuclear and spread like wildfire, not just because of the murder itself, as tragic and heartbreaking as that is, but because of Big U's extremely complicated and controversial history with Nipsey Hussle and all the persistent dark conspiracy theories that have been floating around the hip-hop community for years about Big U's alleged involvement or foreknowledge of Nipsey's shocking 2019 murder. That's precisely where forgotten old footage started dramatically resurfacing with completely new context and meaning, where Nipsey's fiercely loyal affiliates started moving very differently and making shocking public statements, and where the ancient concept of street karma and cosmic justice became literally the hottest, most debated, and most divisive topic in all of hip-hop culture. The Big U and Nipsey connection. Now that you fully understand the Halloween tragedy and its immediate aftermath, we absolutely got to rewind the clock back and really break down in detail the extremely complicated, multifaceted history between Eugene Big U Henley and Ermias Nipsey Hussle Asghedom. Because without truly understanding their relationship in depth, the early mentorship and genuine brotherhood that existed, the lucrative business deals that eventually went sour, the explosive physical fallouts that got violent and dangerous, the messy family drama that complicated everything exponentially, and all the dark conspiracy theories that absolutely refused to die even years later, you absolutely cannot grasp why Jabari's death went so incredibly viral on every social media platform, or why certain segments of the hip-hop community actively and publicly celebrated it as karmic justice finally being served to Big U for alleged past sins. Let's start in the mid-2000s, when Nipsey was a hungry young rapper from Crenshaw trying to make it. Big U, already an established OG in the Rollin' 60s with music connections, took Nipsey under his wing around 2006-2007. He provided studio time, housing, protection from rival gang members, and business connections. Through Big U's label, Unique Music, Nipsey even got featured on Tupac's posthumous album, Pac's Life, in 2006. For a young, unknown rapper from South Central, getting on a Tupac album was hitting the lottery. In those early years, the relationship looked like the blueprint for how an OG should mentor a younger cat trying to make it out the hood. Big U wasn't just managing Nipsey's music. He was teaching him the game, showing him how to navigate both the streets and the business world. Nipsey would shout out Big U in interviews and songs, referring to him as a big brother. From the outside, it seemed genuine, but money and power complicate even the tightest relationships. By 2010-2011, cracks started showing, and what had been love began transforming into tension and conflict. First, business disputes. Nipsey had signed a management contract with Big U's Unique Music, supposedly a 10-year deal. As Nipsey's star rose and he began making real money, questions arose about the terms, how much Big U was taking, and whether Nipsey was getting his fair share. Beyond business, there were personal family issues. One incident involved Nipsey's daughter, who was living with her mother, Big U's niece. According to stories, Nipsey allegedly felt his daughter was in an unsafe environment with concerns about drugs and violence. Nipsey supposedly confronted the situation aggressively. Some accounts say he pistol whipped somebody and got physical with the child's mother. Big U, as the uncle and family protector, felt disrespected. In street culture, family is everything. When you cross somebody's family, that's when things escalate to a different level real quick. The tension came to a head in the infamous 2011 parking lot incident in Crenshaw.
No, that was what was that? 7 years ago, 8 years ago.
Yeah.
It wasn't no shooting. It wasn't no shooting. It was where the police was shooting.
Yeah.
And it was a family dispute. You know what I mean? And that's what happened. Families had disputes, you know what I mean? And that's my little brother, you know what I'm saying? I love him to death. We just did the whole little tour. But I mean, it was like any and everybody else. Sometimes you have a dispute and you gotta get understanding. We come from a place where that happens. You know what I mean? And like I said, if he got a problem, I got a problem. And if I got a problem, he definitely gonna have a problem.
According to Big U, this was a family dispute that got out of hand, ending with police showing up and actually firing shots themselves. But the streets tell a different version. The way many tell it, Big U rolled up on Nipsey to confront him and to put him in check using what's called a DP. That's a disciplinary punishment, where an OG can beat down a younger member who's gotten out of line. The confrontation escalated into a physical fight, with Big U allegedly getting the better of Nipsey. But then, Nipsey's brother, Black Sam, allegedly fired a warning shot into the air to break up the fight. That gunshot drew LAPD immediately, and in the chaos, officers fired shots themselves. All parties were arrested and released on bail the next day. In gang culture, these disputes happen and don't necessarily mean the end of relationships. Big U and Nipsey apparently worked through their issues, and by 2018, they were appearing together publicly, with Big U speaking positively about Nipsey's success. Nipsey even gave Big U props on his Grammy-nominated album Victory Lap in 2018. But just because people smile for cameras doesn't mean all issues are resolved. And that brings us to March 31st, 2019. Nipsey Hussle was gunned down in broad daylight in the parking lot of his Marathon clothing store, shot multiple times by Eric Holder Jr., a fellow Rollins 60s gang member who Nipsey had apparently accused of being a snitch earlier that day. Holder left, came back with a gun, and unleashed at least 10 shots at Nipsey before kicking him in the head as he lay dying. The entire hip-hop community went into mourning. Eric Holder was eventually arrested, convicted of first-degree murder in 2022, and sentenced to 60 years to life in 2023. The prosecution's case painted a clear picture. This was about Holder feeling disrespected for being called a snitch. But official narratives don't always satisfy people. Almost immediately after Nipsey's murder, conspiracy theories started circulating that Big U had something to do with orchestrating the hit. The common threads were, Big U was jealous of Nipsey's success. There were still unresolved contract disputes. Big U felt disrespected by how Nipsey moved independently. And most damningly, there were allegations Big U knew the hit was coming before it happened.
So he FaceTimed me and stuff like that. He was like, Nipsey just got killed. I'm like, sick, so I didn't hear that. So I hang up with him. I called Nipsey and I'm like, Nipsey, what's up? He was like, oh, what's up with it?
Nipsey answered.
Nipsey answered. He answered the phone. So after I talked to Nipsey and I was like, yeah, I love you, cuz, or whatever like that. I'll see you later or whatever. So I hung up the phone. I thought Big U gave wrong information. 30 minutes later, the homies blowing me up like they just killed Nipsey.
The disturbing implication being that Big U called saying Nipsey was dead before it actually happened, suggesting possible foreknowledge. Now I gotta keep it real. Despite all these conspiracy theories, no law enforcement investigation, no FBI probe, and no court proceeding has ever found evidence directly linking Big U to Nipsey's murder. Eric Holder was tried and convicted as a lone actor. Big U has consistently denied involvement, calling Nipsey his little brother and organizing peace marches. But in the court of public opinion, perception often matters more than facts. In March 2025, the conspiracy theories got new life when Big U and 18 associates were hit with a massive federal RICO indictment. The 43-count indictment painted Big U as the head of a criminal enterprise that extorted celebrities and athletes, defrauded nonprofit organizations, including his own developing options charity, and was involved in violent crimes, including murder. Specifically, Big U was charged with the 2021 killing of aspiring rapper Rayshawn R.W. Williams. Federal wiretaps allegedly captured Big U boasting about being bigger than Nipsey, which to many sounded like jealousy and potentially provided motive. Even though none of the charges directly mentioned Nipsey's murder, the timing reignited all the old conspiracy theories. So when Jabari Henley got killed on Halloween 2025, a significant segment of the hip-hop community and Nipsey's loyal fan base viewed it as divine justice, as karma finally catching up to Big U in the most painful way possible. That's what made this go viral. Karma's price. Alright fam, we've finally reached the explosive final part of this story, where absolutely everything we've discussed throughout this deep dive, the Halloween tragedy that shook LA, the complicated Big U and Nipsey history spanning over a decade, the persistent conspiracy theories that won't go away, and years upon years of built-up street tension and resentment all comes crashing together in a massive, unprecedented social media firestorm that had literally millions of people worldwide taking sides, arguing heatedly in comment sections, and and watching old forgotten footage that suddenly took on completely new, darker, more ominous meanings in light of recent tragic events. Let's start with the footage that went mega viral, an old Instagram live clip from years back showing Big U, Nipsey Hussle, and Jabari all together on a Crenshaw street corner, just chopping it up, looking like family. In the grainy under-a-minute video, you can hear Big U narrating with pride, "We still out here. Look at these two dudes, UE and Nipsey Hussle on the block." It's a clip that probably didn't mean much when originally posted, just another day in the hood. But when this footage resurfaced in early November 2025, right after Jabari's murder, it hit completely different. You're looking at three people who were alive together, and two of them, Nipsey and Jabari, are both dead, both killed in eerily similar ways. But here's where it gets really dark and deeply controversial, revealing the ugliest side of social media culture. The clip wasn't leaked by grieving fans trying to honor Jabari's memory, or by people genuinely mourning the tragedy. It was allegedly, deliberately leaked and aggressively shared by Nipsey Hussle's close affiliates, people from his inner circle and camp who specifically, intentionally, wanted to use this old sentimental footage to mock Big U publicly and suggest that his son's brutal death was karmic payback for what allegedly happened to Nipsey 6 years earlier. All across every major social media platform, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, you started seeing hashtags like Nip Karma, Justice for Nipsey, and Odds Are Cost Big Henley, trending hard nationwide and even internationally, with literally thousands upon thousands of tweets, Instagram posts, and TikTok videos essentially celebrating, cheering for, and finding satisfaction in Jabari's death as righteous revenge for Nipsey's murder 6 years earlier. According to detailed social media analytics from those first intense, chaotic 48 hours after Jabari's murder became public knowledge, there were over 25 million total impressions related to this story across all platforms, with approximately 62% of the roughly 8,000 posts directly referencing Nipsey and explicitly framing Jabari's death as divine retribution from beyond the grave, as the universe finally balancing the scales. Yo, let me keep it 100. That's some cold-blooded, heartless shit. We're talking about people actively celebrating the death of a 34-year-old man who wasn't even active in the streets, who had a family, who was trying to live right. Jabari didn't kill Nipsey. Jabari wasn't charged with any crimes related to Nipsey's death, but because he was Big U's son, people viewed his death as acceptable collateral damage. That's the type of thinking that keeps communities trapped in cycles of violence spanning generations. Beyond the leaked video, there were reports of graphic TikTok videos showing the actual crime scene, with footage circulating and racking up millions of views before platforms took them down. These weren't educational, they were being shared for shock value, for clout. Platforms ended up suspending multiple accounts and demonetizing content creators profiting off the tragedy. Then came what might be the most explosive part, reports about a prison confrontation between Nipsey's affiliates and Big U shortly after Jabari's murder. According to multiple sources, Nipsey's people allegedly got word to Big U while he was in federal custody, confronting him verbally about his son's death and essentially telling him, "That's what you get," or "Karma came for you." The idea that people would coordinate specifically to taunt a grieving father about his son's murder shows just how deep the hatred runs. But it wasn't all celebration and mockery. Nipsey's own brother, Black Sam, put out a message on Instagram urging people to stop with the vengeance talk. He posted something like, "Pain multiplies pain. Honor NIP with peace, not this." That's powerful coming from somebody who has every reason to be angry. Instead, he's saying, enough is enough. The counter arguments from Big U's supporters point out important facts. Big U was never charged with anything related to Nipsey's murder. Law enforcement found no evidence linking him. Eric Holder was conclusively proven to be the shooter acting on his own grudge. They argue the conspiracy theories are mostly based on street gossip. Now let's address the elephant in the room. What about Big U's daughter? Because the title mentioned Big U's daughter going viral. But here's the reality. Big U has 4 children, 3 sons, including Jabari and NFL linebacker Dion Henley, and 1 daughter named Cherish Henley. In all the research and news coverage, there's no footage or viral content specifically involving Cherish. She maintains a low profile, staying out of the spotlight. What we do know is that Cherish has been featured in some of Big U's old social media posts, in positive family contexts like birthday celebrations and basketball games, normal father-daughter moments showing a different side of Big U, celebrating her achievements. And that's actually one of the most tragic aspects. Big U and his wife Stacy tried to raise their children with values of hard work, education, and staying away from the streets, with Dion Henley becoming an NFL linebacker for the LA Chargers, showing it is possible to break the cycle. But Jabari, despite doing everything right, still ended up dead, a victim of violence he had had nothing to do with except having the wrong last name, and now Dayan has to play professional football while dealing with the grief of losing his brother and watching his father fight a federal case.
Your father fired his attorney, and now he's representing himself. Is that a strategy, or can you discuss what that's about? Or?
I mean, all I can say is that I think that I don't think the lawyer was ready to do a speedy trial, and I think that my dad is like on some shit like, y'all got all this evidence, all this shit. Let's go.
That tells you something. Big U believes he's innocent, believes he can beat these charges, and wants his day in court. As for the investigation, as of November 2025, there have been no arrests despite the $50,000 reward. A memorial service for Jabari was scheduled for November 8, 2025, but there was uncertainty about whether Big U would be allowed to attend given his federal custody status. So where does this leave us? What's the lesson? Honestly, fam, it's complicated. You have people who genuinely believe Big U played a role in Nipsey's death and see Jabari's murder as cosmic justice. You have people who see celebrating any death as morally reprehensible. And you have people who recognize that both deaths are tragedies highlighting how gang culture, poverty, and systemic racism continue destroying families. The viral nature of this story shows how social media has changed how we process tragedy. Instead of just reading about it, we watch it unfold in real time with graphic images, theories, and hot takes competing for attention. The dopamine hit from being part of a trending conversation contributes to a culture where real human suffering becomes entertainment. The broader issue is about legacy. Nipsey Hussle's legacy is entrepreneurship, community investment, and inspiration. Big U's legacy is complicated. Mentoring artists, gang leadership, community activism, alleged crimes, and now his son's tragedy. And Jabari's legacy? He's now part of this story whether he wanted to be or not. His death used as a prop in arguments about karma when he was just trying to live his life. As we close out, the story continues to evolve as the federal case moves forward and as the investigation into Jabari's murder continues. Whether you believe in karma, whether you think Big U is guilty or innocent, whether you think celebrating anyone's death is ever justified, those are personal decisions. But what we can hopefully agree on is that the cycle of violence has to stop somewhere, that children shouldn't pay for their parents' alleged sins, and that Black communities deserve better than to continue burying their young men over beef that started before they were even born. Stay safe out there. Keep your head on a swivel. And remember, the streets might be watching, but so is the whole world now. Thanks for watching. If you had a good time, keep the adventure alive by clicking on one of the suggested videos on your screen right now for more amazing content.